In this video, I'll show you how to quickly create time patterns from observed sanitary sewer flow data. To begin with, let's load our time series. In this case, I'll load a rain gauge and flow data, and we'll use the rain gauge to help us identify dry weather periods from which we can establish time patterns. Now, if we zoom into the time series, we can see the typical daily or hourly variation in flow after a few days of no rain. So we can select this period of time and use this to create time patterns. We'll have to turn on our functions and go to our time pattern creator tool, and we simply click on calculate. PCSWM handles all the options for you, making intelligent decisions to create a time pattern that's reasonable. It does ask us when there's not quite enough data to make a decision to create a certain time pattern. In this case, there's really not enough data to create daily patterns as we only have 2 days. So it's asking the user what to do. So we'll say we won't generate a time pattern for that. So it creates an hourly pattern and gives you for each hour the number of data points it's sampled, and then the normalized value for the time pattern as well. And no daily patterns or monthly patterns were created. Now we can see the time pattern here. We zoom in, and we can see PCSWM's creation of the time pattern for this flow. Here are the values, and there's the average flow value. Now we can use this to then apportion to the manholes within that sanitary sewer shed. Now let's zoom back out, and we'll use some other dry weather flow periods to try and create a daily pattern as well as the hourly pattern. There's a period of low flow at this time, or dry weather flow. We'll add that to our events. We'll add the one that we were working with before. And let's add a dry weather flow period in this location as well. We have 3 locations now for dry weather flow, or 3 time periods for dry weather flow. And we'll click on our time pattern creator tool and click on calculate. And this time we'll do linear interpolation for the missing days. There's our hourly values, and if we come down to our daily pattern days, you see there's really not enough data to create a daily pattern, but we do have a data point for Sunday, for Wednesday, for Friday, and for Saturday. And so it's done a linear interpolation on the missing days, like for example Monday and Tuesday. And click on close. And now we have the hourly time pattern, and we can see the daily time pattern, and you can see on Monday, Tuesday there was just a linear interpolation between Sunday and Wednesday. But again, I don't think there's enough data to create that in this case. And then if we zoom in, we should be able to see the variation. Let's just zoom into these locations so you can see how we're a little bit higher here and a little bit lower here based on sampling from the periods that we were looking at. And then when you're happy, you can click on create patterns, and it will add these patterns as objects into the time series or time pattern editor for use by the SWM5 model. And that's a quick introduction to how to create time patterns. In a subsequent video, we'll look at apportioning these average flows and time patterns to nodes within the watershed or sewer shed.